What's up, curious youngsters? If we're always wasting time doing useless things or watching millions of videos, ending up with those weird YouTube recommendations, why not spend a few minutes learning on Mr. Curiosity instead? 30 totally epic facts that you'll forget in about 10 minutes. But these aren't just any facts, they're going to leave you completely amazed. For this and much more, these are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. One of the most well-known sweets in the world is Nutella. And whether you've tried it or not, I'm sure you didn't know it was invented during the World War II. An Italian pastry chef created a hazelnut chocolate mix to extend the chocolate's shelf life. The 34-year-old American actor Frankie Muniz, who was well known for being the main character in the comedy series Malcolm, in the Middle and the Agent Cody Banks movies, suffers from a mental illness that caused damage to his memory. In numerous interviews, he claims to have no recollection whatsoever of his recordings from just a few years back. Did we ever watch any movie from the well-known Terminator saga? If there's something you didn't know, it's whether Terminator is called Terminator or Terminator in Spanish. This line separates the illuminated and dark parts of Earth, dividing day and night every day. Let's see if you knew that, my friend. Lions are the kings of the savannah. Their incredible figure can intimidate any animal. So what's the interesting part? Curiosity? Well, apparently the classic roar of these animals can be heard up to 8 kilometers away, and they mainly use it to control their territory from other felines. 5. If you were lucky to visit Mexico, you may have seen the famous Chichen Itza archaeological site with the well-known Kukulkan temple. But even though all the photos don't show it that way, it actually went through a major restoration process, since in a photo from 1880, it was almost completely hidden by the jungle. In 2012, athlete Felix Baumgartner jumped from the stratosphere at 39,068 meters high. Incredibly, he broke the sound barrier, reaching 1,342 kilometers per hour. As a result, he was in free fall for over 3 minutes. In August 2019, Ethiopia saw one of the largest efforts to combat global warming. This broke the previous world record set in India. This time, over 350 million trees were planted in 12 hours across the country in the Green Legacy Initiative. Well done, gentlemen Ethiopians, Ocho. The Valais black-nosed sheep are sheep bred mainly in Switzerland and in some areas of Germany. And these are extremely rare, as they have their faces completely black. Many people find them adorable, but others find them terrifying. They seem to come from hellish farms, Nueve. The Marshall Islands are one of the most radioactive places on the planet, even surpassing Chernobyl and Fukushima. On these poor islands, various nuclear bombs were tested for decades. Today, a sarcophagus covers the radioactive remains of over 67 atomic bombs. 10. As we know, North Korea is known for constantly instilling fear in the rest of the world over a possible war with the United States. In 2017, a very strange incident occurred, and it was with a missile that was supposed to leave the country and crash in a test area, but it failed and ended up falling in North Korean territory itself. 11. Elephants' trunks are one of the most impressive organs in the animal kingdom. These are made almost entirely of muscles, and an elephant's trunk has more than 40,000 different muscles, compared to the 650 muscles in the entire human body. The trunk has many muscles, allowing the elephant to breathe, dive, grab food, and more. Well thought out, Mrs. Nature 12. Every February, the highly coveted Oscar Awards are presented, where movies compete to win the top honors. And although only one movie or actor will win per category, but I'm sure you didn't know that every nominee, whether they win or not, gets a prize. A consolation prize valued at over $100,000, which includes trips, hotel stays, and more exchanges for different activities and items. 13. In the United States, laws are very strict and must be followed. Pointing a laser pointer at an airplane is a felony that can result in up to 20 years in prison. It's a good way to deter anyone considering it. Aruba, a Caribbean country with paradisiacal beaches, has a very interesting curiosity. This is because their currency is unique. For instance, the 50 florin coin has a square shape. Yes, it's one of the few coins that doesn't have the classic circular shape. Johnny, I need 15 florins. The dog is man's best friend. This is proven by Balto, a Siberian husky who became a legend after being embalmed following his death in 1926. He gained fame for transporting diphtheria vaccines during the serum run in Alaska, along with other dogs, for 1,050 kilometers over 5+ days, at minus 40 degrees Celsius, saving many children's lives. 16. We all know restaurants where we can eat, but do you know the origin of the word? Apparently in 1765, a man named Boulanger opened a restaurant in Paris with a sign that read, "Come to my house, men with tired stomachs, and I will restore you." The phrase was so successful that since then, all eateries have been called restaurants. We all fell in love with lemurs after watching the Madagascar movies. Curiously, lemur remains were discovered in Madagascar years ago, which is a rather terrifying fact. They mention lemurs as big as gorillas. Over 200 kilograms. Don't attack me. King Julian, 18. Even though it sounds like a tongue twister, in the Philippines we find a great natural formation known as Volcano Point Island, which is an island inside a lake. Inside an island within a lake located on a larger island, 19. If you have a lot of money and appreciate watches, you might be interested in buying one. Astronomia by the brand Jacob Company, which not only shows the time, but also has pieces that spin and move constantly, like a tiny, cute planet. Well, with a price of over $500,000, it had to have something special. 20. Turtles come in all kinds and sizes, but most are small, except for the Galapagos tortoise. Those are huge, but they're not as big as the prehistoric Archelon turtle, which we should be thankful is extinct, since it measured over 4 meters, and it could easily eat you in a single bite. These giant turtles lived 60 million years ago in the waters of South America. Rafa 21. Architecture is increasingly appealing with more incredible achievements over the years. For example, this is the appearance of the Great Gran Lisboa Hotel, standing at 258 meters tall in Macau. Not only did it become the tallest building in the city, but it also has one of the largest casinos in Asia inside. 22. Of all the magical books in the world, few are as famous as the Necronomicon, which is supposedly the book of the Law of the Dead. This is a collection of ancient spells and rituals that, according to the myth, bring madness or death to the person who tries to put them into practice. 23. We are in the midst of the well-known coronavirus epidemic, and in China they are using every possible resource to prevent its spread. So much so that they started using drones to monitor the cities and warn those people who are not wearing protective masks. 24. One of the most fascinating parts of the 30 things. They are strange phobias, and in this case we have cherophobia, which is the fear of doing anything that could lead to happiness. People who suffer from it can't live peacefully, thinking that once they're happy they'll be sad again. 25. Many times we think that two events were happening at the same time in human history, or that at least they were close to each other. But then we realize that actually, they happened at very distant times. This applies to the Egyptian pyramids and Cleopatra the pharaoh. Apparently, this famous leader lived nearer to the 1969 moon landing than the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza over 4,000 years ago. 26. Considering that roosters can crow at more than 140 decibels, one might wonder, how is it that they don't go deaf? Apparently, these noisy animals have a great trick. When crows open their beaks to crow, their external ear canals close, making them barely hear anything. Well done, Mr. Cacho. 27. Art is fascinating. A few years back, artist Jim Saber had a brilliant idea to make a sculpture outside the CIA headquarters in Virginia, United States. This includes codes that remain undeciphered, totaling 28, considered the most important traffic safety device in history. The painting of lines in the center of streets was invented by a man named Edward Hines in 1911. Seeing the milk stains left by a milk truck on the street gave him a great idea. 29. There are always people who are a little crazier than normal. And in this case, we have Philippe T., a French tightrope walker who became famous after walking on a wire between the rooftops of the Twin Towers. This happened on the morning of August 7, 1974 in New York City. The minerals we find on the planet are incredibly satisfying. And one that's super interesting is amylite, which is a very rare and valuable organic gemstone. It is mainly found in the Rocky Mountains of the United States and Canada. Before I go, let me say hi to a few subscribers. First, a huge shout out to Bram Khalib, Limon Gonzalez, another to Josefina Israeli, and a greeting to all of the Dominican Republic. I want to greet Gertodi Dochi, who has been awaiting his shout out for several videos. Next, I'm going to greet Henry Elvir, another shout out to Ivan Ayala, then a big greeting to Hasiel Cardona, and another little shout out to Rubik's Spa. I'm also sending a huge welcome to Hernan Oliveira, who's new to the channel. And lastly, I'm sending a huge greeting to Nahuel Llanos, another little greeting for Diego Hoych. And the last greeting goes to the awesome Helm 777. Now go ahead and leave your comment anything you want, probably anything you want. Don't forget to share the channel and the video with your friends. So now more kisses and keep following curiosity. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new videos. I'm Cineclastic.